sir.
Scene 1, Act 2.
John Locke. It is good to have you again. You know, you're actually the most frequent flyer now on the Spacejumper podcast, so
Hey, I'm loyal.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Loyalty.
No, man. So for those of you that are just tuning in now, John was actually on a couple weeks ago, and it was the first podcast that I was hosting, and we ran into so many issues. My computer crashed, the camera overheated. There was no sound once we finished the hour and a half. So cheers, and thank you for coming back.
The universe wasn't aligned that day, and now it is.
Damn, I think that tequila is even better than it was last time.
Yeah, a little bit. I think so. It's aged a bit.
Very botanical. So what's been up, man? Go ahead and tell us. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're involved in.
All right. Well, my name is John Locke. I am a volunteer with Food Not Bombs. I've been very active in fighting for homeless rights with Food Not Bombs. Also been active protesting with the Palestinian genocide that's happening there between them and Israel.
Yes,
just a community organizer, and just doing regular stuff.
Man, you're very active, and it's very admirable because you're at the forefront of all of this madness, really. And a lot of people would just sit down in your position and in Food Not Bombs' position. A lot of people would sit down and succumb to all of these rules and regulations that are getting thrown you guys' way. And I think that it's good that you're standing up and fighting for the people that don't have the power to fight for themselves.
Yeah, I think the goal is to have everyone see that they do have the power to fight for themselves. It's more about showing people their power and showing the accountability of this government. And when they start going, left field on us and with their rules and regulations that are the motives behind them and the effectiveness of these laws and ordinances. As I don't know how many people know here, but Food Not Bombs is kind of went viral. Food Not Bombs Houston in regards to being ticketed for feeding the homeless. We received up to, I think it was 97 tickets altogether.
Ridiculous. We could do better
crazy.
than that.
So almost a whole year of being ticketed twice a week with, about 3 to 4 to 5 officers coming there to ticket us. It's crazy. It's crazy. And this feeding ordinance was passed about 10, 12 years ago under the mayor, Niece Parker, and that group of city council members. That law was not enforced in any way, but it did have an effect. Like businesses were scared to get fined and stuff for sharing food. So a lot of businesses that would, instead of throwing away food, they would give it away, instead of wasting all that food. And, now they're throwing it away and stuff like that. But anyways, fast forward to now, under Turner's last year in office, which we have a new mayor now.
Who's the current mayor?
John Whitmire.
John Whitmire.
Yeah, Whitmire. Started ticketing Food Not Bombs for sharing food with the homeless. Now, we were given permission by the mayor, Niece Parker, that passed that feeding ordinance, and they declared, the library as an area for Food Not Bombs food shares. And, fast forward to Mayor Turner's time in office, his last year, he tried to pull that away and be like, oh, no, you can't share here now. Now everybody in the city of 5+ million or whatever has to share food at the police station if they want to share food, which is some authoritarianism.
This is
some real
it's
crazy,
not favorable
1984 type stuff. I don't know.
That's like nobody likes to be micromanaged, and I feel like they're trying to micromanage this whole city and this whole community for trying to do in turn what's right,
Right. Yeah. So you're basically ticketing volunteers that are spending their time to share food with people that are hungry, instead of fighting crimes and instead of doing what they should be doing, is protecting its citizens and serving the people. They haven't been serving the people. Their interests, and it shows, it's in money. It's like this capitalistic society. Everything, follow the money, and you'll find
Right.
find out what's going on. But so anyways, we were fighting that. We were getting tickets up to our 97 ticket. We finally did a federal lawsuit, and then when we went through that lawsuit, we got in a federal injunction which says that they can't give us any more tickets for sharing food not bombs, until this trial is over, because it's more than likely that they're impeding on one of our constitutional rights.
I mean, of course, what do you expect to deal with when you mess with the people? Don't mess with the
Right.
people.
Well, it's providing a service also to the city. These are things that the city should be doing, and they are doing to an extent. But I don't know how many people we have homeless here, but it's a lot. It's in the thousands, and that's old and young. That's many different walks of life. You got people with mental health disabilities. You got people that are can't afford this healthcare system, and maybe got cancer or something like that, and then ended up on the streets. I mean, I've run into a lot of stories. You got veterans, people that served to protect this country, or it's.
And now we're pretty much just shitting on all of those people.
I mean, all these laws, they have so many laws against the homeless because, the city considers them an eyesore, in what they're trying to do and what they're trying to project is what our city looks like. But this is a reality of what we're in, and trying to tuck it off somewhere where no one can see it is not helping the situation, I don't know. And we don't just serve the homeless. We serve anybody that's hungry. Anybody, rich or poor, anybody that's hungry can come get food with Food Not Bombs. This is our act of protest. Sharing food is our act of protest against the government, hence the name Food Not Bombs. We believe in sharing food. People have a right to eat. I don't think we have a right to be dropping bombs on different countries and all these wars and death, and it's sad. It's sad.
I would definitely have to agree with you. Now, when you say that they're kind of pushing it in the corner, now, are they doing anything that reduces the problem that they have with everything? You said they believe that, this is just an eyesore type situation. Are they doing anything to help these people so they're not in the same position?
So, I mean, this goes down a long kind of rabbit hole. So,
Let's go, baby. I am ready.
I mean, yeah, the city has programs that are serving the homeless, right? But, you get they have a couple nonprofits that share food at the police station. One of them for certain is, getting money to do that, right? So this nonprofit is getting these, grants or whatever from the city, and then they pay the people that's working with the nonprofit to share the food or whatever. They're doing some things that's not enough, right? And I don't think we should have to over rely on the government to solve all the issues. But if they're gonna, they need to solve the main ones,
Sure.
right? They need to do something about the main things. But this is about community, the community saying, "Hey, look, we don't need the government. We don't need your grants. We don't need any. We're just gonna share food." And that's what we do. We have volunteers that just are passionate about people not being hungry and having a good meal.
Now, roughly how many volunteers do you guys have total?
I mean, a couple hundred, non-consistently. Main core is probably around 30 main core volunteers that come on different days during the week. We serve 4 days out of the week.
So several hundred. They're all different walks of life.
All different walks of life. All just believe in sharing food.
Absolutely.
Wholesome vegetarian, vegan meals to anyone that's hungry, and to protest against war in our country going into all these different wars. And this is not just in Houston. So this ordinance, this feeding ordinance was passed in Houston, but there's ones like it all around the country. And you see police force, military action being taken against people that are sharing food. And this is a problem, like the over policing of our communities, the militarization of the police and how they're being used. I mean, take a look at some of these protests, right? Like, I don't care if they have like 10 protesters there. They'll bring like 30 cops and like 12 cop cars, people protesting the genocide that's happening in Palestine by Israel. And that's ridiculous. Like, it's impinging again on our freedom of speech and over policing and arresting people that they're doing their constitutional rights, speaking out against things they don't agree with, speaking out of tax dollars being spent on genocides, on wars, on bombs, on arming other countries and ourselves. And it's time for like an end to that. It's time for an end of all of our resources going towards these wars that are not serving the people.
I saw a video the other day that almost made me sick. It was a lady with a megaphone, and she was just, she was protesting, free Palestine, and somebody in a uniform came up and grabbed her by the throat and just slung her. Right. And it was a bad look. It was such a bad look. I don't think that was here in Houston, but it was here in the United States, which is sad.
They're arresting students in colleges for protest. Like, what? Like, we're teaching. We're trying to teach the students to use their voice and to speak out and use their resources to try to effectively make change. And they're like arresting students. I think they arrested some students in Columbia University. Just this past, I believe Monday, there's protests all around the world. Like, people are stopping traffic. They were shutting down Boeing. They're shutting down these different corporations that you start following the money trail and you see where the money's going towards, and protesting against that. And this is happening all around the world, all around the country, all 50 states, people speaking up against, the genocide. And what we don't believe in is all these wars and not doing anything about it and sending more money out.
Right. And that's been a problem too.
Yeah. What's the point at that? I mean, what is even the point then if we're just like rolling over and letting things happen?
Right.
If we see injustice, we should speak on it. We should do something about it. I think, being silent on things like that makes you just as guilty. Like, honestly, like if you see a woman being raped, like right across the street, you just walk like, oh, not my business, or see somebody getting like stabbed to death or whatever, and you're like, oh, not my business.
Right. So
you're just, I mean, by our law, literally, you're guilty of the crime for not like speaking up.
Dude, there would be madness. Madness would break out in the streets. There would be no law at that point. If everyone was to not speak up on anything, it would lead to way more problems. So, being vocal and being aware of what's going on and where these problems are happening is the key to identify and fix, Right. And that's a pretty big part that you and your Food Not Bombs group, I almost said nonprofit, but it is not a nonprofit. No. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's not a nonprofit. It's a mutual aid organization, which is a lot different than a nonprofit.
What is a mutual aid?
Mutual aid is like, we're not like everybody. It's the money's going directly to the people, right? Like if they send donations to Food Not Bombs, like we are putting it towards either the food they're getting or like the supplies or whatever to the people that we're serving, not to the people serving them. You know what I mean? Right. So they're like, I think we mentioned this before, but there's people in these nonprofits like, I think it was the top of my head, but there's CEOs making like $200,000 a year
Just a
to
ridiculous
run
amount.
a nonprofit, $400,000, giving themselves raises. Like, it's unfortunately, like, money corrupts a lot of things.
Yeah, greed,
and,
for sure.
It takes away from what people are doing. Now, there's good nonprofits out there. I know I'm not knocking every nonprofit or whatever, but the mutual aid is definitely the way to go. It's the new wave, and the government is actively like fighting against mutual aid organizations because they can't control them with like money, right? Like they're not controlling them with as far as like getting grants. Like once you start taking money like from the government for something, especially as a business, now you're beholden to them.
Right. And you have to bite your tongue on some
Right, you got to bite
situations.
your tongue. All of a sudden, like you're finding yourself having conversations with board members about like, oh, well, we don't want to talk about this. This is a little not, you know what I mean? A political BS gets, squeezed into everything, and you start being restrained from doing what your mission, your goal was to begin with, as a nonprofit organization. The board structure sucks. Mutual aid, so when we vote on something, everybody is equal. There's no president. There's no like, when you like ask, oh, you're a leader of food. No, I'm just a volunteer. Like we're all just volunteers, and we all just pick up the mantle where we may.
Sure. So Food Not Bombs is an international.
Yeah, so
program,
they
right?
have chapters everywhere. They're connected but run independently of each other. They're like, I don't know, in about 80 something different countries. And there's hundreds of them everywhere. There's a Food Not Bombs in Russia, and just think this guy in like California that just start Food Not Bombs, and it just like grew.
Is that where it started? Is in
Yeah.
California?
Mhm.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When was
the
it?
Houston
When did
Food
it
Not
originate?
Bombs started in '94.
94.
I'm not sure the exact date of when Food Not Bombs as an organization.
So how long have you been a volunteer here?
12 years.
12 years.
Since the feeding ordinance. I have a good story about that. So I had a friend I was going to college with, and they were telling me about how for their birthday, instead of, she told all of her friends, instead of having a party or whatever, let's all, come to my house, let's make sandwiches, and let's do a sandwich run, which is like basically you just hand sandwiches out to people in the subway and stuff. This was in Toronto or whatever. I wouldn't go, the person was from Toronto when they did it.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that's a cool idea. Man, we should do something like that here. I was like inspired.
Yeah.
And then, we looking up stuff on the computer, and we find out, oh, wait, it's illegal to do it here. There's a feeding ordinance. If you serve over 5 people, you can get fined by the city. I was like, well, that's crazy. And I found Food Not Bombs that way, of finding out about this feeding ordinance. And Food Not Bombs was right in the forefront, fighting against it. And I learned a lot through that. I learned how, how the city runs, and all these boards and lawyers and all this stuff, how, fighting laws that are, unjust, that people don't really agree with.
Sure.
That especially is hindering your constitutional rights,
Right.
And then I got involved through there.
Sure. So you are originally from Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Yes, born and raised. I've lived in many of the hoods in Houston. I started out in Greenspoint and worked my way to 3rd Ward, and now I'm in Sunnyside.
Wow. Well, man, you are having an amazing impact on Houston. So I just moved to Houston a couple years ago, but I am very happy that you're here and that you're standing for all of these things that you stand for. So it's funny because you started this whole thing, with just the thought, of going and helping people. Then you stumble across Food Not Bombs, and here you are at the forefront of this fight.
That's kind of how it works, yeah. In the forefront, yeah. I mean, we're as strong as the people we're around, and I'm around some amazing people at Food Not Bombs. All of the volunteers there are very dedicated, and there's a story. There's one time we were sharing food, and it literally started hailing. Like, it started hailing like golf balls full of like ice, and and so we were serving food and like getting hit with like hail the size of golf balls, literally. And then people were still like, they weren't running from the hail. They literally kept serving. and people kept coming to get food even though it was hailing. So it was a beautiful moment to me because it showed like the determination of the volunteers, like not being warded off even by like hail and brimstone coming from the sky, and not only the volunteers, but the people getting the food. Like they stayed in that weather to get the food out of respect for the volunteers that were there and like sacrificing their time and some scratches and like bruises.
I mean, yeah.
It was a beautiful
flying,
moment.
yeah.
Nobody had like pictures or anything, but it was just like a moment you had to be there and like just feel the energy from that. And I mean that showed me a lot. I mean about the people we're serving and about the people that are volunteering. Like they pushing through no matter what. And
Still doing that to this day.
Yeah, and I don't know if the city understands this, but we're not going to stop sharing food. Like y'all, they're putting so much resources towards like trying to thwart off sharing food with people.
Yeah,
it's like it's not going to happen. Like you're bringing like 8 cops, and you're bringing like all these tickets, all these man hours, and yet lo and behold, like the city's literally dropping cases because they don't have enough police force power to like investigate them all. So there's like, I don't know, like thousands of cases being dropped of like real crimes. And
that should tell you something right there, that they have trouble getting officers, but you guys have no trouble getting volunteers.
Right.
And they're bribing them with money. You guys are it's a full volunteer operation, and that's what's beautiful about it.
And they're wasting there's 3 SUVs full of police that come there twice a week. so they're using those and they're not doing anything. They're just sitting. They're still coming there. Like even though they can't give us tickets, they still come there and park and just sit in their car and watch.
That's weird.
It's really weird, It's
So have they ever
bootlicking to another level?
Have they ever done anything like they have a full crew, they're showing up, almost like
out of spite?
Have they ever done anything that would resemble police work, or is it just they're pretty much just trying to
Yeah, no, it's just a whole lot of bootlicking. No, I mean they just come there and give us tickets. Like they stand there and give us tickets, and now they can't give us tickets. Now they just sit in their cars and just watch. So it's only twice a week though, not 4 days a week. They can't work on Friday and Sunday apparently because we've never got a ticket on Friday and Sunday. It's always Monday and Wednesday when we serve.
And it's the same officers each time.
Yeah, they have a crew assigned to us. They have it's like they come in to work every morning. It's like, all right, well we got they're bringing in peanut butter sandwiches today. All right, yes, take notes of that. We can make sure what is that, Capri Suns? Oh, yeah, all right. I don't know what type of research and data they're collecting, but it's ridiculous. They're just wasting a lot of our time, their time, people's time. Like there's been a lot of time, and if that time was just put into like just helping the people that were trying to help,
Exactly.
maybe we wouldn't have to be here,
So I heard they're actually taking away garbage cans, or they maybe said that you guys had to provide your own garbage cans, or what is the story behind that?
Yeah, there's a couple of parameters that they added once they started giving us tickets. So the mayor then, Sylvester Turner, unilaterally just like added some rules to the ordinance thing, to like the food
Just
sharing,
randomly.
and it was like, okay, now you have to provide your own trash cans. You got to have 10 parking spaces that's separated for the event, and porta potties.
Yeah,
you got restrooms.
They're locking those on you guys.
Right. So so we did some undercover investigation, and we went down there and like seeing their operation. And so it says in the rules that you got to have 24-hour access to restrooms. And so they have porta potties there, but they lock them. Like they leave them open for an hour and then they lock them. Right. So they're not following their own rules, which is like crazy to me. And then they don't have 10 parking spaces. Like all these new things they added, like, and then started sharing food at the police station. They're not following the rules that they added, and they started giving us tickets. So it's a weird reality.
So who's making these rules? It's just you know, it can't be just the mayor sitting down in the evening, you know, after his
ordinance was passed by the city council and the mayor. So it runs like a kind of like a board, right? The mayor is like the speaker of the house or the speaker of, you know, of that council meeting, and the division of powers through the councils. Now, historically, Houston's been a mayoral strong city, which means like the mayor has control of those meetings where things are getting done. He controls the agenda. He's basically like the speaker and controls what's going on. And so that was a big deal, you know. Like if you could be a city council member and be having this stuff you're trying to get passed, and the mayor's just like, I don't like you. We're not going to put this on the agenda today, you know. But now we just had a law that passed that now that's not the case. Now if you have 2 city council members, you can put something on the agenda. So they kind of strip the power away from the mayor, coming as Mayor Turner got out of office.
So who has the power to fix this?
We do. We all do.
Sure, yeah.
We all do, man. By holding our elected officials accountable, remind them that they're working for us and they need to be working harder. Same with the mayor, same with all the politicians, anybody that's representing you, whether it's a Congress member, whether if it's a senator, whatever it is, like, you need to hold them accountable. And like enough of the BS, you know? Sure. And let your voice be heard. Get people that have like views and like minds, and go and speak up against the stuff that's happening. And then there's legal ways to do this too, which we're showing a kind of a roadmap of how to do this legally, right? So federal case, all right. Motion for injunction, nice. All right, now you can't give us tickets. Now y'all are on the clock. And use the Constitution to your best ability. Get people taking your constitutional rights. That's one good way to get something knocked out of the books. So they're impinging on our freedom of speech, and then other people may say their freedom of religion. But our protest, we're protesting by sharing food. That is our act of protest. So it's protected constitutionally, and the judges pretty much said as much already by giving us that injunction. We could only get that injunction if the judge thought it was more than likely that they're impeding on one of our constitutional rights.
So that's a win.
That's a win, but it's still a long road to go. We have another year where they're gathering information and evidence. So we have another year until we start going back to court and fighting the food ordinance itself. But for right now, like, we don't have to deal with the tickets. So, I mean, the fight still continues on, and we're gonna continue to share food regardless. And the fights in the courts it's long drawn out. They try to wear you down, you know, and all this legal mumbo jumbo is like, hey man, I just want to share food, bro. Your Honor. Can I get a sandwich? Like, is it all right, bro? Like, do we have to go through all this?
You had told me that the Food Not Bombs still had to pay an absurd amount of money.
A bond for that. So the city's saying that they're costing us money because we have to empty the trash cans, or we have to, like, I don't know what they're doing, to be honestly. Like, it's what they do already. Like, the trash cans are there, they empty them, they put it as a resource from the city. I don't know. Like, I didn't understand that part. Like, why we had to pay money for that, like, to get that injunction. Like, it's weird to me. But yeah, whatever. Money rules the world, it seems like. It's, but yeah, we had to pay like a lot of money for that.
Jesus, man.
But we got support from the community, like, so we were able to do that, and we're trying to knock this out for the community, so people don't have to look behind their backs or their shoulders when they're giving out food. Like, that you should be able to share food, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's the most human thing you can do.
It is a beautiful thing. So, what else besides Food Not Bombs are you involved in?
So yeah, with the community organizing. I've worked a little bit with some of the Palestinian protests going on. I do like leadership classes, like with people.
Really?
Historically, yeah. Like I'm not like currently in the class, doing a class, but I've done that in the past. Leadership type programs and stuff of that nature.
Right. Are you guys going around to like local high schools or
podcasts
or podcasts maybe? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, not like podcasts, social media. You don't have to, the marketing and like trying to get the word out there to the people is easy when it's
Just kind of
like,
does itself. Yeah.
it just does itself. It's like, man ticketed for sharing food. Like, that looks whack. You know?
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro, I'm gonna look at that.
Yeah,
Like,
people
what's
click
going
on it because it's bullshit.
Right. And all the messages, coming out of West Bank or Israel and Palestine and just sharing that information, right? Like we're starting to take control of news because we're getting it straight from the source, right? Like we're not relying on, Channel 13 News here for your daily report. And I love that. That's beautiful. People are using their voice. They're starting podcasts. They're speaking on videos that came out and giving out facts like details and research. People that care about what's going on, and I think that's kind of beautiful. That's a beautiful thing that's going on now, like in the social media sphere. People are taking advantage of that to get the message out there of injustices that they believe that are happening all around this world. So you can have revolution happening in Russia or something, and we can get like Russia like literally like, hey, I'm here, it's real, it's going on, people shooting everywhere. And we don't have to rely, on this, Fox, CNN stuff, like all that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's, man, if you really like, if you know some of what's going on and if you listen to how they talk, like there's a bias always. Like there's always seems to be a bias and agendas, and people get like, they donate money to CNN, like they get millions of dollars from people. You know what I mean? Like sure. All these people get money, like follow the money, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Follow the money.
Yeah, unity is definitely an amazing thing.
Right.
When people come together to accomplish a common goal, it's almost unstoppable. And so you guys are leading a real precedent here in Houston for other cities in the United States. I saw that there was some cities in Florida, I believe maybe Pensacola and Miami.
Yeah, I think in Kentucky too, like they're literally arresting people for giving out water bottles. It's all around, and I hope I have that state right. It was Kentucky, Oklahoma. It's in the South somewhere. But there's multiple cities that are passing ordinances and they are enforcing them, and they're stopping people from sharing food. They're arresting people for like showing any type of humanitarian efforts without city approval or whatever. I saw a guy, a church actually was getting like fined a whole lot of money for like allowing homeless, like a couple of homeless people to like sleep there, like for like a day or two. Like it is crazy out there. It is really, and we're in an important time right now. I feel like there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of people upset. Our government is getting exposed for a lot of the mischief it's been up to and how it's been imposing on our rights, our constitutional rights. I mean, this is a time like we need to come together. We need to like make some like real changes. Changes are not going to come from like, unfortunately, I think our political parties, either of them, I think it's time for like an independent, like party to like rise up and like make the we need to split this up a little bit more. Right. You know what I mean? Like the balance of power is not, it's not, the weights don't measure.
Right. It always bothers me when people are either like blue or red. It's like, if you ever looked at the parameters for each one, you would notice that there's so much overlap. It just bothers me. It irks me, man.
Politics irks.
Yeah.
This is a irky situation.
Very,
Period.
very irky.
Until I get money out of it, like there's just too much money. Like how, look, if I give somebody like a candy bar for registering to vote, I could get arrested. But you can give Congress people millions of dollars to like vote on something for you. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Like that's weird. You know? Like how can you can basically bribe a politician into like voting your way, and we can't give somebody like a bottle of water when they register to vote or to go vote or anything. Like it's just I don't know, man. The way like the pendulum's gonna swing, and I feel it happening now.
It has to.
And I believe in the younger generation coming up right now. They're very, very active, very aware, not taking the bullshit. And I want to see that to continue to happen, and for people to start rising up and taking leadership positions, and let's take back control of this country of what it is supposed to be. Like, because it's not there, and it's looking like it never was there, you know?
Right. Yeah. Instead of land of the free, it's more like land of the fee. It's a pretty sad circle. So if we could find a way to break that circle, to break that never-ending repeat, then, I think we would be doing pretty damn good,
Man, there's people that come from other countries, and it's like when we start talking about, oh man, I don't got the money to go to the doctor. Like, what money to go to the doctor? What are you talking about?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like literally, like I had a friend that got in a car accident, and like she was struggling to get medical care because we were in the wrong city, And like,
What city were you guys in?
we're in Galveston.
Galveston,
Well,
Texas.
they were in Galveston.
Okay.
And they were in a hospital there, and like they weren't trying to, they were like, oh yeah, we'll do this, but you get up out of here.
So what was the problem? She didn't have medical insurance, or how?
Yeah,
what was that?
didn't have insurance, didn't have anything. Hit by a drunk driver.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they're just gonna like kick her to the curb out the hospital with a broke neck. This is weird, man.
How did they go about that? Did they actually just wheel her outside and say best of luck, or
In like more polite way, yeah. Like basically using like weird doctor talk and stuff,
Yeah, I mean,
doctor
it's
talk,
almost a whole new language, And so they give this doctor talk basically saying, "Get out." What did you guys do? Like, what was?
Oh,
the
we
next
came.
step?
Well, so in Harris County, they have things like something called a gold card you can get, which is basically like healthcare for anybody that can't afford healthcare. And so we got here and she was able to get all the medical care she needed.
Wow.
But
How is she
if it
doing?
had stayed in Galveston, like if she didn't actually live out here in Harris County, like she'd been stuck out, like really stuck out.
I wonder why Galveston doesn't have an
and
option like
not
that.
without help from like the community and stuff. Like the community rose up and helped their situation too.
So how is she doing?
Oh, great. Just moving forward, progressing really, really well.
I know last time I talked to you, you said that she was finally walking. She's
yeah,
up and
with
moving.
like a walker and stuff. But yeah, no, she's
how
gonna
old?
get 30. Yeah, 30.
She's
So
30.
they say because they're young, they'll be able to recover well
Right.
from this. Never 100%.
Still
but,
young, man.
pretty,
Still young and a lot of life to live, and they were just gonna throw her out.
Right, but it's just, I just use that as an example to show that, like, man, in certain situations, like in this country, like you can be sick and hurt, and like they're like the hospitals have to accept you in, but like they don't have to keep you there. Like they'll do like the very minimal of what it is, and then like get you out, not like the actual care.
Not proper care. Yeah.
Right, but the thing is, man, we're in debt from like medical bills. We're in debt from college. Like, there's not many. I don't know how many other countries actually like charge their people for college and stuff. Like, that's crazy too. Everybody's in debt over here. You know what I mean? Like, just it's a lot of opportunity to make money, but they're taking so much money from you all the time. It's ridiculous, man. And like your basic needs are not met.
I know. I was looking at an MBA program over at Rice University over here near the medical center. And just curious, running down that rabbit hole and come to find out they were charging, it's a 2-year program, they were charging $156,000. So
For what?
Exactly.
156,000.
156,000.
Man. Hey man, they got like free classes you can take like on Apple on iPhone now, like iPhone U or Apple U, IU, something like that. And they got like literally like classes recorded from like Harvard, from like all these different like prestigious schools that you can literally just like take on your phone.
I mean,
you can't get
it,
like credit for it. But who cares about credit, man? I don't need credit. I just need to learn whatever it is that you need to learn. And
Right.
you know how many people that like get a degree in their like their major and they're not working in their major at all.
Right.
Like nowhere near their major.
Yeah.
This is there's something wrong with I believe there's a lot of things wrong with our education system. And man, until we start knocking out these like basic principles for like having a solid country, like we're gonna be in trouble. There's all type of stuff happening everywhere, man, and everybody has some type of privileges, one way or the other, I guess. But there's definitely a lot of changes that need to happen, and just in the very basics,
Right.
the basics, like for real. But no, until then, free Palestine, man.
Yeah, free Palestine.
Man. Straight up.
Cheers to that. You need some more tequila or what?
Oh man, I'm still sipping over here. We good.
yeah, right. I better stick away from it, or we're definitely not gonna be able to run this back. But yeah, man, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, and I don't know, what a time to be alive, So
What a time to be alive, indeed. I hope I'm alive to see like America change, like to go through its like transformation into something a little bit better than what we are right now.
yeah, baby steps. So baby steps.
Yeah, first let's like be able to share food with people without getting tickets.
God, that sounds so dumb.
Yeah, no, there's people in like other countries that like message on some of the videos that we like have and stuff, and they're like, "Fuck America, man! Fuck America, land of the free." That's the main quote I see all the time. They're like, "Yeah, look at that, land of the free." Yeah, you got me there, mate. You got me there. It's called a tequila accent,
Maybe we're gonna get you talking doctor talk.
right? Dude, doctor talk.
Oh man. Well, you guys are definitely making some moves, and it's very inspirational to see everybody that I show Food Not Bombs to. They're getting ticketed for what?
Right.
Like feeding the homeless, and But here's the thing, I was at Chipotle the other day, and
Not Chipotle.
oh, dude, I love Chipotle. We have a love-hate relationship. It just depends on who's scooping the beef. So. But yeah, no, I was at Chipotle, and there was somebody outside that was asking for money, and so I went and got a little quesadilla and brought it to him. But I mean, that shouldn't be illegal,
Right, man. Well, it was only one. You might have got away with that. 4 more, then you get the ticket, buddy. You get the ticket.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So. What are you guys' schedule? Like, how can people become more involved with Food Not Bombs?
Well, thank you for asking. So we are on the corner of Smith and McKinney, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 7:30 p.m. sharp. Anyone that wants to volunteer can just show up. We're right beside the downtown Houston Library, and so we serve vegetarian or vegan food. You don't have to bring anything; just bring yourself. Or you can bring a vegetarian dish or some bottled water, or we share clothes as well, and hygiene items, just depending on the day. But yeah, come over there. Hey, if you're hungry, just come over there, grab you a plate, get some food.
Nice.
So food makes people happy.
Food makes me happy, that's for sure.
Exactly. Good food, especially cooked with love.
Oh, I saw some of the stuff that you guys are scooping too, man.
Yeah. No, we get good scoops over here. Good scoops.
So now, there's no sign up process or
Nope.
just show up.
Just show up, man. Just bring yourself. Just come over there. 7:30. You find yourself downtown around 7. Just hop over there by Smith and McKinney. Come share some food with us. Get some smiling faces.
How many people do you guys usually feed on those days?
It ranges anywhere from like 80 to like 200. So it just depends on the day.
People are looking forward to this.
No, definitely. I mean, there's people that have dietary restrictions and stuff, and only wants like kind of like healthy-ish food. There's people that can't really like travel very well, like they're in wheelchairs and stuff, so they're they're going to somewhere that's closest to them. I mean, everybody has their reasons. We're happy to share healthy vegan or vegetarian meals as our act of protest against the wars going on around the country.
Well, I think it's a great
around
thing.
The world. By the country.
Around the world. Yeah. It's a great thing, man. Real quick, if you would excuse me, I'm going to go get a sparkling water. You like one?
No, good.
Good to go? Okay, give me 1 second.
All right, you're here live with John with the Spacejumper podcast. We've just taken over this podcast right now. We're going to talk about any and everything. All right, who's on line 1? You drink that tequila and you come on down to Smith and McKinney, 7:30 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and come share some food with us.
I'm actually going to come.
Yeah, you should totally. You have to come. No, you just did a podcast on it. You gotta come. It's like it's in your city. It's not like
in the city. Yeah.
Yeah. You're required. Come over there. You got enough punk with a camera shirts.
Yeah, I know, man. I was excited when this came in, and I was like, man, I'm gonna totally wear that.
Oh, that's perfect.
See who starts crying.
Yeah, right.
I think that's the beauty of doing your own thing.
Right, doing your own thing. All that freedom comes responsibility.
Yes, that is true. There has to be some limitation on action and behavior.
It's not limitation. No, I don't. Hey, don't let me put you in a box, my friend. All I'm saying
no, not even. I wouldn't even
to yourself,
about me.
man. To play this 10 years down the road and be like, yeah, all right, I still dig that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there definitely needs to be thought in the actions, in anybody's actions, really. And, I think I was talking about this yesterday with another one of my friends. And, each step you take in life, you kind of have to be aware of where you're stepping and the possibility of the next step, So,
yeah, those thoughts can cloud your mind, too. I love to challenge things, right? Instincts, man. Sometimes just relying on instinct is a beautiful thing. Clear of thought. Clear of mind, just going with your gut sometimes, and just following the flow. Yeah,
yeah. Sometimes the lights are off when you're stepping, so you gotta.
Right, exactly. And then now you're thinking about the lights being off instead of stepping. You know what I mean?
Sometimes, yeah, I agree. Sometimes even with the lights on, it may be best to close your eyes and move from there.
Whoa.
Deep thoughts.
Jedi mind tricks. It's beautiful. I felt, man, I'm glad we got to come back in here and rehash everything. It has some technical.
What a headache, man!
But we made it through. We made it through this one, and hey, it was a reason for me to come back here and have some tequila and meet the dogs, and what I mean,
I know. I looked down there mid podcast and he's chewing on my lens cover, and I was like, it's already too far gone.
Yeah, I have 4 dogs at home, and they're...
What kind of dogs?
They are full-blooded mutts.
Beautiful.
Full-blooded mutts.
Those are usually the best.
Yeah, best ones. And so 3 are of the same tribe, and then 1 is like Husky Labrador mix.
Oh, wow.
He's adopted in the family, but he plays stepdad to the pups. There's 2 pups and 1 mama pup.
Wow.
Or 1 mama.
Yeah, I have Larry, and...
Hello, Larry.
I'm looking at him. I mean, he has that lens cover destroyed. Well, he's definitely a little shit, but I love him. I had one dog named Jordan, and he's a little mini Australian like Larry, and he's the one. This kind of sounds weird, but he's he's the one that like taught me how to just deeply love animals, you know? And so shout out to Jordan.
Nice.
All right, brother. Well, hey, I appreciate you for coming today. And is there anything you need to get off your chest before we wrap this thing up? Where can everybody find you at?
All right. Well, they can find Food Not Bombs Houston at Food Not Bombs HTX. That's on Instagram and TikTok. And you can find me personally on John Locke 713 at John Locke 713. That's for Instagram.
Cool.
And yeah, on TikTok, I think it's there too. So whatever.
Right.
But yeah, cool, man. It's always a pleasure. I just want to say this. I don't want to put nothing out there. I'm just say I was the first one that came to your podcast. I may not be the first one released, but I am the first person that was at your podcast.
That is true.
Hold up. Are you having people like sign something or anything? Should there be another tradition?
Yeah. Oh my God.
You got like a magic marker? It's like start tagging your wall with like, you know.
Dude, that would be so
like
cool,
around
actually.
it, like on the border or whatever.
Yeah, that's actually a brilliant idea, man.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm actually gonna get a. I don't think I have a silver marker, but
yeah,
dude, that would
perfect.
be
A
amazing.
silver marker for like on the black.
That would be totally amazing. My goal would be to fill up all the black.
Exactly.
Wow. Dude, shout out to you. That was that was an amazing idea. Yeah. Before you leave, we'll figure something out, but we'll go ahead and wrap this bad boy up before this camera crashes again.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up.
Hey, cheers, friend.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks for coming out today.
Hey, it was my pleasure.
John Locke, everybody.